My topic is biology, fields of study and branch of biology, and how life started in the planet. So, this science studied life from different standpoints, from the structure of atoms and molecules to the biology of the evolutionary development of population, to the areas of study and branch of biology. There are some branches derived from biology, such as anatomy, anthropology, botany, embryology, biomedicine, biochemistry, cytology, genetics, histology, immunology, virology, and zoology. Humans are beginning to leave the limits of the planet and living in space. Therefore, the biology of living beings will change. And these transformations already have a new branch of study of biology, and biology has allowed us to know the composition of material that pass the genetic information from living being to another. Life has a common ancestor which has a continuously evolved, and the evolutionary change produced the appearance of the nucleus. Thanks to these new structures, the genetic material could be isolated from the rest of the cell. How life started in the planet. For centuries, it was believed that the Supreme Being created life, also that it was generated spontaneously. Other possible explanations for the origin of life were that some think that it was electrical activity in the atmosphere. All others suggest that the creation of life occurred in the volcanoes, and others say that in the bottom of the oceans, and others that the living beings arrived transported by comets or meteorites. The truth until now is that everything that has previously happened gave rise to a system based on DNA and RNA.
Health can be defined as a person's mental, physical, and social condition. Good health is more than being free from disease. It's having a positive outlook on life and feeling good physically. To enjoy good health, a person needs proper shelter, nutrition, exercise, sleep, and rest. Disease is a disorder or malfunction on the mind or body, which destroys good health. Disease may have a single cause or be multifactorial. Disease have characteristic symptoms, which may be physical, mental, or both. Those that have a sudden onset with rapid change, but only last for a short time, are called acute, while the effects of chronic disease may last months or even years. Adolescents' health is a range of approaches to preventing, detecting, and treating young people's health. Healthy lifestyles promote habits beneficial to all the aspects in the life of an individual. The most important 7 habits that you must have if you want to have a healthy life are sleeping between 7 and 8 hours a day, have breakfast every day, perform 3 meals a day, maintain body weight within acceptable limits, practice a physical activity regularly, do not consume or moderate the consumption of alcohol, and do not smoking.
I'm Daniela Lopez, and I'm going to explain the homeostasis. So, we begin in 1865 when Claude Bernard wrote that all the vital mechanisms, varied as they are, have only one object, and this object is to preserve constant the internal environment. In 1928, Walter V. Cannon coined the term homeostasis to describe and define the regulation of this internal environment. So, the term homeostasis comes from the union of two Greek words, which in Spanish are translated as homeos and stasis. Homeos means equal or similar, and stasis means states or stability. In the biological context, it refers to the quality of organisms to preserve their internal conditions despite the changing conditions in its exterior or interior. This balance is reached thanks to the mechanisms of self-regulation that every living being has. We have the negative feedback that regulates most of the functions in our body, and one example of this is the maintenance of homeostasis of the blood glucose concentration. Because when there is blood glucose, that is after eating, the beta cells of the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas respond by releasing insulin. This insulin stimulates the entry of glucose into other cells and its preferential use, and also the glycogenesis in hepatocytes and muscle cells, as well as the synthesis of lipids from the glucose stored in the adipose tissue. In this way, glucose concentrations decrease until they reach the normal limits, and when this state is achieved, the beta cell stops secreting insulin. Besides the negative feedback, we also have the positive feedback, and one example of this is the secretion of milk during lactation. Prolactin and oxytocin are the hormones that regulate the production and ejection of milk, respectively. Both are hormones found in the pituitary gland, and as long as the mechanical stimulation of the suction is carried out, both hormones will be produced, and the more lactation activity is carried out, the more hormones there will be, and therefore more milk. So now I'm going to explain some of the organ systems that we have and what is an organ system. An organ system is a group of anatomical structures that work together to perform a specific function or task. Although we'll learn about each organ system as a distinct entity, the functions of the body's organ system overlap considerably, and your body cannot function without the cooperation of all of its organ systems. In fact, the failure of one organ system could lead to several disability or even death. Some of the organ systems that we have in the book are cardiovascular, that its function is to transport oxygen, nutrients, and other substance to the cells, removes waste, carbon dioxide, and other substances from the cells. It also helps to stabilize body temperature and pH. The organs, tissues, and structures are the heart, the blood, and the blood vessels. We have the lymphatic system. Its function is to defend the body against infections and diseases, and some of the organs or tissues are lymph nodes, and lymphatic vessels. We have the digestive system. Its function, as we already know, is to process food and absorbs nutrients, mineral vitamins, and water. Some of the organs, tissues, etc. are the mouth, salivary glands, esophagus, stomach, liver, pancreas, and the rest. There is also the endocrine system. Its function is to provide communication within of the body through hormones. directs long-term changes in other organ systems to maintain the homeostasis. Some of the organs are the endocrine pancreas, testicles, ovaries, adrenals. We also have the integumentary system. Its function is to provide protection against injuries and loss of fluids, as well as physical defenses against infections from microorganisms. The organs or tissues are skin, hair, and the nails. We have the muscular system that its function is to provide movement, support, and heat production. The organs or tissues or structures are skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscles. The nervous system has as a function to collect, transfer, and process the information, direct fast changes in other organ systems, and some of the organs are brain, spinal cord nerves, and sensory organs, tongue, skin, nose. We have the reproductive system that its function is to produce gametes, sex cells, and sexual hormones. Its ultimate goal is produce offspring. We have as organs or tissues the ovaries, the mammary glands, the testicles, the prostate, and the penis. The respiratory system has as a function to deliver air to places where gases exchange occur. Some of the organs are mouth, nose, the trachea, and the diaphragm. So, another system is the skeletal system. It supports and protects the soft tissues of the body, provides movement in joints, and produces blood cells and stores minerals. Some of the organs are the bones, the cartilage, the tendons, and the ligaments. So there is the urinary system that eliminates excess water, salts, and waste products of blood and body. Some of the organs are kidneys, uterus, bladder, and urethra. And at last, we have the immune system that, as we already know, it defends against microbiological pathogens and other diseases. Some of the organs are the toxins, the thymus, and the spleen.